Welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily, and today Nick and I are going to talk about one of the most important parts of communication, asking and answering questions naturally in English. This is such a key skill because questions are how conversations begin, how they continue, and how you build real connections with people.
Absolutely, Emily. The challenge many learners face is that they know the grammar of questions, but they sometimes sound too stiff, too formal, or even a little robotic when speaking. For example, instead of saying, "Do you like music?" in a flat way, you can say it with a bit more rhythm and natural tone. So, do you like music? That little adjustment makes your English feel more friendly and conversational.
Exactly. And we'll also explore how to answer questions in ways that don't stop the conversation. If someone asks, "How was your weekend?" and you just say, "Good," the conversation ends. But if you say, "It was good. I went to the park and tried a new cafe," suddenly, you're giving the other person something to respond to.
That's the secret. Asking and answering questions is really about giving and receiving, almost like playing catch. You throw the ball, the other person catches it, and then they throw it back. We'll share examples of how to do this smoothly, so you can sound natural whether you're chatting with a friend, talking to a colleague, or meeting someone new.
And along the way, we'll practice some common questions and answers you can use in daily life. That way, you'll feel confident not just in forming sentences, but in making conversations flow.
Let's start with one of the most common situations, meeting someone for the first time. You might ask, "Where are you from?" But instead of leaving it there, you could follow up with something like, "Oh, that's interesting, what's it like living there?" That second question keeps the conversation alive.
Exactly. And if you're on the answering side, you don't want to just give a one-word response. For example, if someone asks, "Where are you from?" you could say, "I'm from Manchester. It's a lively city in the north of England." There's always something happening, from football matches to music festivals. That way, the other person has more to react to.
Another natural question is, "What do you do?" If you only say, "I'm a teacher," that ends quickly. But if you say, "I'm a teacher, and I've been working with teenagers for a few years now. It's challenging, but I really enjoy it," suddenly the conversation has depth.
And the person listening can then ask, "Oh, what subject do you teach?" Or "What do you enjoy most about teaching?" You see, asking and answering in this way creates space for the conversation to grow.
It's also good to use softer, more natural question forms. Instead of, "What is your hobby?" you might say, "So, what do you usually do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies you really enjoy?" Those versions sound more like everyday English.
Yes, and I think a big part of it is not being afraid to ask follow-up questions. For example, if someone says, "I went to a concert last weekend," you could reply, "Oh, that's cool. Who did you see? Or was it your first time seeing them live?" That shows genuine curiosity, and it makes the conversation flow naturally.
Exactly, and notice how Emily didn't just say, "That's nice," and stop there. She extended the topic. That's how natural conversations keep moving. A good rule is, when someone gives you information, treat it like a gift. Don't just say, "Thanks," and move on. Open it up, explore it, and give something back.
That's such a good way to put it, like a gift exchange. And the more you practice this, the easier it feels. At first, you might need to remind yourself, "Okay, ask one more question, add one more comment." Over time, though, it becomes automatic.
And here's another little tip. If you ever feel like you're asking too many questions and not saying enough, you can balance it out by using what's called the comment plus question method. For example, "Oh, I love concerts too, I went to one last month. What kind of music do you usually listen to?" That way, you're sharing about yourself while also inviting them to continue.
That's one of my favorite techniques. It's like a ping-pong game, you hit the ball, they hit it back. If you only ask questions, it feels like an interview. If you only talk about yourself, it feels like a monologue. But if you mix both, it feels like a real conversation.
And one last thing before we move on, don't worry about being perfect. Native speakers make mistakes all the time, pausing, saying, repeating themselves. What makes a conversation feel natural isn't perfect grammar, it's the connection.
Yes, exactly. People don't remember every word you say, but they do remember how you made them feel. If you sound friendly, curious, and relaxed, people will enjoy talking to you, even if your grammar isn't perfect.
Let's put this into action with a quick role play, Emily. I'll ask you some simple questions, and you can answer in a natural way, then we'll flip it. Ready?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. What did you have for breakfast today?
I had toast with peanut butter and a cup of coffee. I usually drink tea, but today I felt like coffee. How about you?
Nice, that's perfect. Notice what Emily did. She gave an answer with a little extra detail, and then she asked me the same question. That makes it feel like a real back and forth. Now let's flip. You ask me.
What's your favorite season of the year?
I really like autumn because the weather cools down and the trees look amazing. Plus, I love wearing sweaters. What about you?
See? That's how natural conversation works. It's not about giving long speeches. It's about sharing little pieces of yourself and then turning it back to the other person.
And here's a tip for learners: if you don't know what to say, use simple connectors like actually, to be honest, or I think. For example, actually, I prefer summer because I love the beach. These small words make your answer sound more natural.
Another trick is to react before answering. Like if someone asks, "Do you like sports?" Instead of just saying yes or no, you could say, that's a good question. Yes, I do. I really enjoy swimming. That little pause and reaction makes it sound more real.
Yes, exactly. Native speakers do this all the time. They don't just fire off answers like a robot. They react, they add emotion, they sometimes even say, "Let me think."
And when you ask questions, remember you can use easy openers like "what about?" or "how about?" For example, I like reading in the evening. How about you? It's short, but it invites the other person to share.
Right. That's how you keep the conversation alive, by passing the ball back and forth naturally.
Let's create another everyday scenario, so you can hear how this works in real life. Imagine you're at a new English class, and you sit next to someone. You don't want it to feel awkward, so you ask a natural question.
Right, so let's try. "Hi, is this your first time in this class?"
And the other person might answer, "Yeah, it is. I'm kind of nervous actually. What about you?"
Then you can reply, "Same here, but I think it'll be fun once we get started." See how the conversation flows? You're asking, answering, and adding just a little more.
Yes, and notice, neither person is giving long, complicated sentences. It's short, simple, but still friendly. That's the secret to sounding natural.
Exactly. Let's try one more example. Imagine you're at a cafe and you want to chat with someone waiting in line.
You could start with something like, "This place is always busy, isn't it?"
And maybe they'll say, "Yeah, but their coffee is really good. Do you come here often?"
And you could answer, "Sometimes, but usually I just make coffee at home. What about you?"
Perfect. That's natural conversation. You're noticing something around you, commenting on it, and then turning it into a question.
And the good news is, you can practice this even by yourself. You can imagine different places, like a bus stop, a classroom, or a store, and think, "What's one simple question I could ask here?"
That's a great exercise. The more you practice these small exchanges, the more confident you'll feel when it's real.
So, as we wrap up today's episode, remember this: asking and answering questions in English doesn't have to feel like a big performance. It's really about curiosity, kindness, and keeping things simple.
Yes, and the more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Don't worry if you make mistakes, that's part of the learning process. Every conversation is a chance to grow.
Try some of the practice dialogues we shared today. Imagine yourself in those situations, or even role play with a friend. Over time, you'll notice your confidence building.
And next time you meet someone, instead of freezing up, you'll have the tools to ask a question, give an answer, and keep the flow going.
Thanks for joining us on the British Accent Podcast.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, your English voice matters.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.